Deputy Xu Xingfeng from Ministry of Commerce, Mr. Guo Shougang from Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, Madame Zhang Yan from Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development. First, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Sheng Qiuping to give us an introduction. Friends from the media, good morning. Approved by State Council, Ministry of Commerce worked together with Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Altogether, 16 departments have released a number of measures to promote the consumption of the automobiles. And today, by taking this opportunity, I would like to brief you on some of the policies. Automobiles are the pillar industry for the national economy. This will help to improve the growth and also to boost the consumption. Last year, for the sales of the automobiles has reached 4.4 trillion yuan, also accounted for 9.9% of the total sales of the consumer goods. The State Council has attached great importance to the consumption of the automobiles. General Secretary Xi Jinping has emphasized the importance of the consumption of the automobiles. He pointed out the consumption should be a leading role to boost the national economy. Because of many uncertainties, and this year we see a decline of the consumption of the automobiles. And the State Council has made a number of measures and come up a number of policies to boost the consumption of the automobiles. The Ministry of Commerce has worked together with many departments to make sure that we can smooth the circulation and boost the consumption of the automobiles. In general, all of these measures are feasible and practical. And this will also break some of the barrier for the promoting of the consumption. And this will help us to increase the sales of the automobiles and also to make sure that the automobile industry could march towards a high-quality development. First, we would like to build a comprehensive market to sell the automobiles. And second, we have to reduce the cost and also to smooth the circulation. We would like to break the local protectionism and also to promote the sales of the NEVs. And also, we would like to cancel the access restriction for second-hand cars and facilitate the registration of the second-hand cars in different regions. And we are trying our best to make sure that the circulation could be improved, and also we are able to form a high-quality development for the second-hand consumption market. And third, we have put people as our top priority. Especially, we are focusing on some of the issues that trouble our people in using the automobiles. And also, we would like to foster a favorable environment to boost the use of the automobiles. And also, we are launching policies shifting from the focus of the purchase restrictions to user guidelines. And also, we are able to strengthen the construction of urban parking lots and charging devices for NEVs. We are making good use of different resources to build more parking lots. In terms of the charging devices, we would like to add in more devices in local residential communities, the highway parking lots, and other surrounding areas, making sure that all the NEVs could be charged in time. Third, we have to pay attention to the low-carbon development. We have made a solemn commitment to the world to achieve the low-carbon emission target and also the carbon neutrality target. We will support people to purchase the new energy vehicle. We would like to improve the ratio of the sales of the new energy vehicle. Also, we would like to make good use of the abandoned cars make sure that we could better optimize the usage of all these resources. And also we would like to promote the green transformation of all the automobiles. Fourth, we would like to promote the consumption in all industries for the automobiles. This is a systemic work. We have to focus on the sales of the new cars and the trade of the second-hand cars and also the recycling of the abandoned cars. We would like to pay attention to all the areas to make sure that we could stabilize the purchase of the new cars and also fully tap the potential of the existing cars. So we are trying to promote the sales of the cars in the rural areas and also to reduce the purchase tax for all the second-hand cars and the new cars, making sure that we could form a good circulation of all the automobiles. Also, we would like to encourage the trading of the old cars. We also like to promote the cultural development of all of the automobiles. Going next, the Ministry of Commerce will continue to work with different departments to exercise the decisions made by the State Council and achieve all the goals set by the measures. And we are trying our best to make sure that the consumption of the automobiles can play a key role in boosting the national economy. That is my update. Thank you. Thank you for Mr. Sheng's introduction. Now the floor is open for questions. Please identify your media affiliation before you raise the question. With CMG, recently the nation has released a number of policies to boost the consumption of the automobiles. So what is the context and what are some of the considerations in releasing such policy package? Thank you. Thank you for your question. And start from this year, because of the pandemic, the automobile industry has faced a lot of challenges, especially we see a decline sales of the automobiles. Especially in April and May, we do see a large decline of the sales. The State Council and the City Central Committee attach great importance to this issue and also released the policy package to stabilize the economy. And all of these measures will fully unleash the potential for the consumption of the automobiles, especially some of the restrictions have been removed. In May, the State Council has released the policy package to stabilize the economy. So these measures also reduce the purchase tax for the new cars and also cancel the access restriction for second-hand cars. For Ministry of Commerce, we work with 16 departments to exercise all of these measures. We will fully support the implementation of the policy package to stabilize the economy. Second, for the NEV market, we are seeing some of the local protectionism, and also for some of the new energy vehicles, they're not able to get charged in many places. And the Ministry of Commerce will release more measures to ease all of these tensions. We are trying our best to shift our policies so that we could fully unleash the potential for the automobile industry. I believe with the containment of the epidemic, together with all of these measures, I believe the automobile industry will recover. I believe in the second half of this year, the industry will continue to improve and also it will make its contribution for the national economy. Thank you. Next question, please. With 21st century, for the circulation of the second-hand cars has been concerning the society. My question is, so what are some of the measures for us to further boost the circulation of the second-hand car market? Mr. Sheng. So for the second-hand cars has played a key role for the life cycle of the automobiles. The circulation of the second-hand cars can help us to tap the full potential of our existing resources in cars. This will also help us to boost the consumption of the automobiles in general. So right now, the vehicle population has exceeded 300 million sets, which rank number 1 in the world. So when we have a huge amount of the vehicle population, meaning that we have a huge number of the second-hand cars. So last year, actually, the transaction of the second-hand cars is only 1,759. This only accounts a small proportion. So for the second-hand cars, there are a lot of restrictions for the transaction. This will also hinder the development of the second-hand automobile industry. We have done a lot of research, and also we are announcing a number of measures to boost the circulation of the second-hand cars, making sure that the transaction of the second-hand cars could be done in accordance with the law. So for our measures and cover all aspects for the transaction of the second-hand cars, for example, we have a very well-established transaction procedures, and also we are focusing on the registration and the access restriction for the second-hand cars. First, we eliminate the access restriction for the second-hand cars, and this will help to boost the circulation. Start from next month, from August the 1st, on nationwide, we will eliminate the access registration for eligible second-hand cars, meaning that for these cars, they will meet the standard for the carbon oxide emissions. Second, we will improve our methods for the registration for the second-hand cars. For the second-hand cars transaction, it should be applied by the same manner as the new cars. When we register the second-hand cars, it should be done on a separate manner. Also, we have to streamline the procedure for the registration. For some of the areas, there may be some purchase restriction, and we will not come up with a certain car play restriction for the second-hand cars. Third, we will promote the commissioning policy, and for the transaction of the second-hand cars, it's actually accounting for a large portion of the total transaction of the automobiles. So the most important thing is to eliminate some of the unreasonable restrictions for the transaction. And for certain areas, if there's no purchase restriction, we have to make sure that all of these restrictions can be lifted, and also we need to issue the invoices to buyers who purchase all of these second-hand cars. And in due course, we have to make sure that all the cars can be registered. Thank you. Next question, please. With the paper. So for all of the measures, they also emphasize the importance of the purchase of the new energy vehicles. My question is, what is the competitiveness of the new energy vehicles? What are measures for us to take to break the local protectionism to help the purchase of the new energy vehicles? So in recent years, we have seized the big trend of the technological transformation. We have understood that the importance of the consumption of the new energy vehicles. We'll try our best to boost the consumption of the new energy vehicles. The NEV market plays a key role for the automobile industry. Also, we are seeing a good competitiveness of the NEVs. Right now, we are able to see a number of innovative NEVs in the market. All of these are welcomed by the general public. And also, the satisfaction rate for the NEVs is actually equalized to regular cars. So for among the top 10 most popular NEVs in the world, 6 of them are produced by China. And this year, the ratio of the sales of the NEV accounts for above 50% of the total sales of the cars. We have to firmly stick to the policy to support the purchase of the new energy vehicles. So going next, the MIIT will continue to abide by the measures proposed by State Council and CPC Central Committee, and we will continue to promote the sales of the NEVs. This will help us to stabilize the fundamentals of the national economy. First, we have to improve the quality of the new energy vehicles, make sure that all of these vehicles, they're safe and of high quality. We have to make sure that all the power batteries, the electric models, and the electric controls are up to the standards. We have to make our best to serve our customers and also to improve their driving experiences. Second, we have to foster a good environment. And also we have to focusing on the supply of the chips to make sure that we have sufficient supply. And also we will respond to the policies released by the State Council, that is to boost the commodity consumption. And also we will continue to promote the policies on the exemption of the purchase tax for people who are buying the new energy vehicles. And also, we want to promote the sales of the new energy vehicles in the rural areas. And we will try our best to build more infrastructures that can provide the charging devices for NEVs. You also mentioned the issue about the local protectionism. Back in 2022, the State Council has released a notification which eliminates some of the red tapes. And also it emphasized the importance of the anti-monopoly, and some of the parameters will be removed according to the new standard. We also work with different departments to monitor the situation of the sales of the NEVs. We are trying our best to create a fair and open market, and this will also help us to further enlarge the size of the NEV industry. Next question, please. So for our people, they always pay a lot of attention about the charging devices for NEVs. And also this time we are seeing for the infrastructure development is also a key part for the measures released by the State Council. Can you tell us more about these measures? Thank you for your question. For the development of the charging devices in communities, this is very important. Also, it will bring convenience to local people. And start from this year, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development has earnestly exercised the measures from the State Council. We have paid a lot of attention in building the infrastructure to build the charging devices for NEVs. We are trying our best to boost the consumption of the NEVs. We have set up a well-established standards and to make sure that for all of these NEVs could be charged in different places. And for some of the newly built areas, we have to make sure that for these constructions, they have to reserve the space to install the charging devices for NEVs. Also, we are focusing on the standards of the power supply, equipment, and the charging devices. Second, we will guide the localities to come up with plans. And this year, we have set up pilot plants in 59 cities. And also, we are focusing on the low carbon development. And also, we are sending out the questionnaire for people to understand the current situation. We are trying to find out the weak links for the charging devices. We come up with plans. For example, in the Chongqing municipality, we are trying to find out some of the weak links, and also we are setting up the key targets. Especially, all of these targets are falling into the requirements of the 14th five-year plan. So in the city, it actually focusing on a lot of corner place spaces to build up all of these charging devices. Third, we focus on the classification. We guide the localities to build the charging devices. This is also part of the renovation for the old residential areas. Start from last year, till now, we already installed over 8,900 charging devices. We're trying our best to reserve the space to install the charging devices, or we will try our best to include the charging devices in some of the old residential areas. For example, in Shandong province, they already include the construction of the charging devices into the construction plan in different places. As for the installation of the charging devices, we will also provide supervision, and also we require the property management team to give more education for the car owners so they know how to use all of these charging devices. Going next, for our department, we'll continue to work with other departments and trying our best to bring more conveniences to install the charging devices. We will learn from different localities and try our best to provide more convenient charger devices for our people. Thank you. Next question, please. We are aware that for a number of measures have emphasized the restrictions of the sales of the second-hand cars. So will this affect the circulation of the second-hand cars? I would like to turn over to Mr. Xu from Ministry of Commerce to answer your question. Thank you for your question. So for the measures you were mentioning, it is quite specific. And this will also help to promote the circulation of the second-hand cars. First, I would like to give you a briefing on three aspects. First, the measure you're talking about actually suits the needs for us to promote the circulation of the second-hand cars. So for an individual, if they're selling the second-hand car, they don't have to pay a certain tax. However, if an enterprise is to sell the second-hand cars, they need to pay VAT. So that said, for these people, if they want to avoid to pay the tax, they will try to sell the cars under their name. So here right now, we are actually focusing on the sales of the second-hand cars. So because all of these weak links we are seeing for the second-hand car industry may have some weak links, and also it will create an unfair market environment. Because of these reasons, we have released a number of measures to standardize the transaction of the second-hand cars. And also we are learning the practice from other countries. We are doing a lot of research, especially for the transaction of the second-hand cars in the developed countries. So for us, if we have like 200 second-hand cars, for those other countries, they may have like 500 to 600 second-hand cars. So actually, we have to redefine the retailer for the second-hand cars. If they are selling the second-hand cars in a certain period, so these people may be considered as the retailer. If they are considered as the retailer, and these people have to pay tax for the transaction. And third, as I just said, for the restrictions for the retailers, actually this will not affect the total circulation of the second-hand cars. So actually in China, as we just said, the vehicle population is already exceeded 300 million. And for the car owners, we understand that for over 2.1 million people owning more than 3 cars, so very small percentage of these people, they will sell cars. They will sell over 3 cars within 1 year. That said, for the policies we are rolling out, will not affect the circulation of the second-hand cars. Next question, please. With China Daily. So right now, as we continue to develop the automobile industry, so my question is, when we're upgrading automobile consumption, we also have to consider the issues of the abandoned cars. So what are some of the measures to take care of these abandoned cars? So right now, as I said, we have seen an increasing trend of the vehicle population, which has exceeded 300 million sets. And also we have more abandoned cars coming in. So that's why we have to pay attention to the trading of the old cars and also the recycling of the abandoned cars. So when we are getting rid of the second-hand cars, and then we have to consider how to deal with the abandoned cars. So that's why we have to focusing on the recycling of the abandoned cars. So after we settle all of these abandoned cars, this will help us to further recycle the resources and also continue to boost the consumption of the existing cars. By taking this opportunity, I would like to brief you on 2 measures. First, we will encourage the elimination of the abandoned cars so as to boost the consumption of the automobiles. We will use a number of measures to recycle all of these abandoned cars. When necessary, we also want to encourage the trading of old cars for Shanghai, Hubei, Guangdong, Chongqing, Ningxia. For all of these provinces, they already come up with special program on the trading of the old cars, and this will also help to upgrade the automobile industry. And also we talk about the abandoned cars. We need to build up a well-established policy to deal with the abandoned cars. So we need the leading enterprises to play a key role to handle all of these abandoned cars. And also we will help to alleviate the burdens for the enterprises in accordance to the needs of the State Council. For example, you have to register all of these abandoned cars by August 30th, 2022. However, due to many uncertainties of this year, we have extended this time period to March 31st, 2023. And also, we clarified the land use for the market entities who are able to recycle all of these abandoned cars. For some of the eligible entities, if they could get the land, and then they're able to dismantle some of these abandoned cars and make good use of the existing resources. Thank you. In 2020, the MMIT Ministry of the Agriculture and Rural Affairs, together with the Ministry of Commerce, has rolled out a program to encourage the automobile consumption in the rural areas. So what are some of the measures for us right now to promote the consumption of cars in rural areas? Thank you for your question. For the NEVs, it sees the need for the green transformation and the low carbon development. And this is our strategic choice for us to develop the automobile industry. General Secretary Xi Jinping also pointed that in order to develop the industry of the new energy vehicle, it will help us to transform China into a major country in automobile. So in the rural areas, we do see some of the advantages to develop the industry of the new energy vehicles. So by having the NEVs, it will also help to smooth the transportation in the rural areas. However, we are seeing that the purchase network is not well established. So right now, we have not yet fully tapped the potential of the consumption power of the rural areas. In order to boost the rural revitalization, MIT, together with the Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development, has rolled out a campaign on promoting the sales of the NEVs in rural areas. In Shandong, Jiangsu, Hainan, Sichuan, Yunnan, Chongqing, Hubei, Guangxi, altogether 8 provinces, we have come up with 14 campaigns. We are giving a lot of promotion on the NEVs, and also we are displaying a lot of NEVs in these places. And for the local government, they also roll out subsidies in the rural areas. Also, we are developing the NEVs that are suitable for the needs of the rural areas. And also, we have some enterprises, they are trying their best to build up the infrastructure and to offer the charging devices in the rural areas. With the joint efforts, we are seeing that most of these NEVs are well welcomed by all of these rural areas. And last year, we are seeing that we are able to sell 1.4 million cars. And this year, the campaign already kicked off, start from May. And the first campaign happened in Jiangsu province. And going next, we will continue to abide by the measures, and we will continue to take an innovative measure to boost the consumption of the NEVs in the rural areas. First, we'll try our best to provide diversified campaigns, making sure that different kinds and different categories of NEVs can be introduced into the rural areas. And also, we are using the live streaming to sell all of these NEVs. Second, we would like to roll out customized services to the rural residents. We are trying our best to set up more selling centers so more people can receive the service from those centers. Third, we are trying our best to improve the quality of the NEVs. We are setting up a higher standard. We would like to guide the enterprises and the manufacturers to improve the quality of their products, their cars, making sure that all the consumers can enjoy their experiences in buying and using the NEVs. Next question, please. And also, we are talking about the importance to build the urban parking lots. So my question is, for the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development, what are some of the measures taken to further build the urban parking lots? Thank you for your question. In order to fill in the weak links, back in 2021, NDRC work together with 4 departments to have already rolled out a suggestion to build parking lots in urban areas. We are trying our best to increase the building of the new parking lots and try our best to fully use the existing parking lots. And this year, we are able to add over 269.4 thousand parking lots this year, which has a double-digit increase compared to last year. Going next, our department will continue to respond to the measures of the State Council and CPC Central Committee. And we are focusing on the healthy development and high-quality development of the automobile industry. We will work with different departments and try our best to build more urban parking lots. First, we try our best to fulfill the needs for the drivers. And we have to consider the layout of the city and trying to build the parking lots. For cities above a population of 500,000, we have to make sure that each household can enjoy one parking lot. And also we will do a lot of renovation for the old residential buildings and trying our best to build more parking facilities. And we will try to share the parking resources in different places. And also we will encourage the enterprises to offer more parking lots to local residents. Second, for hospitals, business centers, tourist sites, and the schools, we have to fully consider the needs for the parking in those areas. We have to make good use of different spaces to make sure that we could add more parking lots. And we will try to build more underground parking lots and comprehensive parking lots, and also try our best to share all of these parking lots to people of different needs. Third, we work with different departments to improve the charging system for the parking lots. And this will also attract the investment for different enterprises, and also we have to roll out the differentiated fee charge for the parking. We will try our best to fully leverage the role of the marking entity. And when necessary, we will also provide subsidies and the support programs for the areas to build the parking lots. Thank you. With cover news, for the enterprises and our people, they're actually paying a lot of attention to the cancellation of the access restriction for second-hand cars. Can you tell us more about the efficiency and the expected results for this measure? Thank you. As you said, for the access restriction for second-hand cars, this is actually a restriction for us to further develop the automobile industry. In the past few years, State Council has made many deployments and also guide the localities to eliminate the access restriction for second-hand cars. This has made notable progress. At the same time, we still receive some of the complaints or suggestions from the general public. Especially, they're paying attention to the emission standard. So for some places, they have come up with a very strict standard on the pollutant emission for the second-hand cars. And for some of the areas, they already violate the rules. And they're also imposing a lot of access restrictions for the second-hand cars. And this will actually curb the consumption for our local people in the purchase of the second-hand cars. In view of all of these issues, we have fully implemented the policy package to stabilize the economy released by the State Council. We want to roll out the elimination of the access restriction for second-hand cars in an orderly manner. So especially, we have to consider the situation in different cities and different places. Also, we have to consider the pollutant emission standards in different places. We are trying our best to boost the circulation of the second-hand cars. For some of the regions, we could see the progress is very slow. We will continue to supervise all of these regions to make sure that start from August the 1st, we could fully lift the access restriction for the second-hand cars. And right now, we are seeing that for most of the second-hand cars, they're coming from the Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities to Tier 3 to 4 cities. And for the average price for the second-hand cars is about 60,000 yuan. So after we lift the access restriction, we could fully improve the circulation of the second-hand cars. And also this will help us to strengthen the demand-supply links, and this will meet the needs for more families, and also to meet the needs for people's aspiration for a better life, and also to help us to boost the national economy. Next, we will continue to work with relevant departments and also to follow the progress on our implementation for the measures released by the State Council and other departments. We will do the inspection to make sure that all of these policies and measures could be implemented thoroughly and receive expected results. So that's the end of the press briefing. Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you for your participation. See you next time.